Otis Williams is an American baritone singer. Nicknamed Big Daddy, he is occasionally also a songwriter and a record producer. Williams is best known as the founder and last original surviving member of the Motown vocal group The Temptations, a group in which he continues to perform. Early life: Williams was born Otis Miles, Jr. in Texarkana, Texas to Otis Miles and Hazel Louise Williams, an unmarried couple who separated shortly after their son's birth. While he was still a toddler, his mother married and moved to Detroit, Michigan, leaving the younger Otis Miles to be raised by both of his grandmothers in Texarkana. Hazel Williams moved her son to Detroit when he was 10 years old, where he lived with his mother and his stepfather. Career: becoming interested in music as a teenager, Otis Miles, Jr. adopted his mother's maiden name for his stage name, and as Otis Williams put together a number of singing groups. These groups included Otis Williams and the Siberians, the El Domingos and The Distance. In 1959, The Distance scored a local hit, co-written by Williams and their manager-producer Johnny May Matthews, called Come On, with lead vocals by Richard Street. Future Distance recordings were not as successful, and after an offer from Berry Gordy of Motown Records, Williams and his friends bandmates Elbridge Al Bryant and Melvin Franklin quit The Distance. Eddie Kendricks and Paul Williams from the Primes later joined Williams, Bryant, and Franklin to create the Elgins, who signed to Motown in March 1961 as The Temptations. The Temptations eventually became the most successful act in black music over the course of its nearly 5-decade existence, over which time notable singers such as David Ruffin, Dennis Edwards, former Distant Richard Street, Damon Harris, Ron Tyson, Ali Woodson, Theo Peoples, Ray Davis and former Spinners singer G.C. Cameron have all been members. In fact, the group's lineup changes were so frequent, stressful and troublesome that Williams and Melvin Franklin promised each other they would never quit the group. Franklin would remain in the group until 1994, when he became physically incapable of continuing. Franklin died on February 23, 1995, leaving Otis Williams, then 53, as the last surviving original member of the Temptations quintet. Williams is the co-author, with Patricia Romanowski, of Temptations, a 1988 book that served as both his autobiography and a history of the group. 10 years later, the book was adapted into an NBC television miniseries The Temptations. Williams was portrayed by actor Charles Malik Whitfield. Although he has served the longest tenure in The Temptations, Williams rarely sings lead, focusing instead on his role as the group's leader and organizer, and as the background tenor in the middle. The Smokey Robinson and Eddie Kendrick written track Don't Send Me Away from the LP The Temptations with a Lotto Soul, the intro on early group song Check Yourself, and the Norman Whitfield penned tune I Ain't Got Nothing from 1972's All Directions are extremely rare showcases for Williams' singing lead. Williams has provided non-singing contributions to some Temptations songs, including I'm Gonna Make You Love Me, and during the opening verse of Masterpiece. In 1989, Otis Williams was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Temptations. Williams received an honorary doctorate from Stillman College in May 2006. Personal life: Williams married Josephine Rogers in 1961. The couple's son, Otis Lamont, was born the same year. He and Josephine divorced in 1964. Otis Lamont Williams was a construction worker who died in a workplace accident in Detroit in 1983. Williams dated Florence Ballard of the Supremes and was for a time engaged to R&B singer Patti LaBelle. Williams was married to Ann Kane from 1967 to 1973. Williams married his third wife, Arleta Goldie Williams, in 1983. Arleta Williams' daughter Alan Carter became 1994's Playboy's Playmate of the Month for June 1994. They divorced in 1997. In popular culture, Charles Malik Whitfield portrayed Williams in the 1998 NBC TV miniseries The Temptations. References. External links: Otis Williams' official website, Otis Williams interview by Pete Lewis, Blues and Soul March 2010. Otis Williams on Angel Fire, interview with Otis Williams by Gary James at Classic Bands.